You think she lost interest out of nowhere. You think you did something wrong. But the truth is, you were never reading the right signals to begin with. Most men spend years trying to decode women's behavior using the wrong operating system. They listen to the words, they take the surface at face value. They believe that what a woman says and what she means are the same sentence. And that single assumption, that comfortable, convenient lie you've been living inside, is costing you your relationships, your confidence, and your identity as a man. Today we're going to cut through it. All of it. Because you deserve clarity more than you deserve comfort. And if you're new here, hit subscribe right now. Not for me, for you. Because the things I'm going to tell you today are the things nobody in your life has the courage to say out loud, and you need a place where that keeps happening. You need reminders. You need a voice that refuses to sugarcoat reality. So subscribe, and let's keep going. Here's the thesis. When a woman says one thing and means another, it is not manipulation in a vacuum. It is communication operating on a frequency most men were never taught to tune into. It is a language built on emotion, subtext, context, and most critically, on how she feels in your presence rather than what you technically said or did. And here is what it really means when you stop understanding that language. You stop being attractive. You stop being trusted. You stop being chosen. Not because you're a bad man, but because you became a man who reacts to words instead of reading reality. Let's go through it. One lie at a time. One truth at a time. She says, I'm fine. You think, she's fine. Problem solved. Move on. Here's the hard truth. I'm fine is almost never about being fine. It is a test of whether you care enough to look deeper. It is a flag dropped at your feet, asking a silent question. Are you paying attention to me? Or are you just satisfied that I stopped talking? When a woman says I'm fine with a flat tone, crossed arms, or a half-second pause before the words, she is not reporting her emotional state. She is withdrawing it. She is deciding whether you are worth opening up to. That's called emotional gating. It is her subconscious measuring the return on investment of vulnerability with you. Why does it happen? Because most men, when confronted with female emotion, either shut down or get defensive. They make it about them. They make it a problem to solve rather than a person to meet. So she learns, not consciously, not maliciously, but through pure repeated experience, that saying how she really feels leads to conflict, dismissal, or your discomfort, so she compresses it. She compresses it into 2 words, and you take those 2 words at face value, and the distance between you grows, and you don't even know why. What does it cost you? It costs you intimacy. It costs you the truth of who she actually is. And eventually, it costs you her. The reframe, stop being relieved when she says she's fine. Start being curious. Ask again, differently. Ask what she actually means. Hold the space without flinching. That's leadership. Not asking again because you're anxious. Asking again because you're present. She says, I don't want a relationship right now. You think she's not ready. She's been hurt. She needs time. Maybe if I wait. No. Here's the hard truth. I don't want a relationship right now usually means I don't want a relationship with you right now, not with someone, with you. Specifically, in this moment, at this level of connection, that is a devastating distinction, and most men spend months, sometimes years, ignoring it. They interpret timing as the problem. They think if they just stay close, stay available, stay kind, eventually the timing will shift. But timing was never the variable. Attraction was. Why does this happen? Because women rarely deliver the exact truth when they sense it will cause pain or conflict. It is not cruelty. It is conflict avoidance wrapped in compassion. She is trying to let you down in a way that doesn't destroy your ego. The problem is that in trying to protect you from the blunt truth, she leaves you dangling inside a fiction. And you choose to live in that fiction because the fiction is more comfortable than the truth. That's called hope, as a coping mechanism, and it will keep you frozen. What does it cost you? Months of your life, your self-worth, your ability to move forward and find someone who actually wants you. It costs you momentum. And momentum, in the life of a man, is everything. The reframe, when you hear those words, believe the subtext, not the surface. Ask yourself honestly, is she pursuing me? Is she creating moments to be near me? Is she investing energy? If the answer is no, then the answer to your question is also no. Move with your dignity. Move without bitterness. But move. She says you're too good for me. You think she's being humble. She's scared. She's pushing me away because she's afraid of how much I mean to her. I need you to sit with this one. You're too good for me is sometimes the most compassionate rejection in the language. It is saying, I see your quality, I acknowledge it, and I am still not choosing it. That is not a contradiction. That is her being honest about desire. Attraction does not care about goodness. Attraction does not care about effort. Attraction does not care about how many mornings you showed up, how many times you checked on her, how consistently you were there. Attraction is visceral and involuntary, and no amount of moral decency manufactures it. Here's why it happens. You were probably the kind, reliable, emotionally available option, and she genuinely respects that. But respect and desire are not the same currency. You can deeply respect a man and feel zero pull toward him. You can feel overwhelming desire for a man you don't fully respect. That's the bitter architecture of attraction. And pretending otherwise only keeps you performing the wrong version of yourself in hopes of a different result. That's called the approval loop. And it is where good men go to disappear. What does it cost you? Your edge. Your identity. Because when you spend long enough trying to earn desire through goodness, you slowly erase the parts of yourself that are actually interesting. The rawness, the directness, the standards, the willingness to walk away. All of it, smoothed over in the name of being safe and acceptable. The reframe, too good for me, is her way of saying she doesn't feel it. Accept that, respect it, and then ask yourself why you were trying to convince someone to choose you instead of simply presenting yourself and seeing who steps forward. Now, let me describe something to you. There is a man, you know him, or you know someone like him. He is not the loudest in the room. He is not performing. He walks into a space and takes it, not with aggression, but with certainty. When a woman in his life says, I'm fine, he doesn't flinch, and he doesn't panic. He looks at her and says, you sure about that? And holds the question open with calm eyes. He is not afraid of her emotion. He has met his own. He knows how to sit inside discomfort without running from it or dissolving into it. When someone tells him she doesn't want a relationship right now, he nods. He doesn't argue. He doesn't campaign. He says, I respect that. And he turns his attention back to his own life, his mission, his craft, the things that make him the man he is, not out of coldness, out of self-respect. He is not available to be someone's option. He is only available to be someone's choice. And when a woman tells him he's too good for her, he doesn't talk her out of it. He doesn't perform more goodness to prove his worth. He thanks her for her honesty, and he leaves the conversation with more dignity than he entered it. Because his identity is not contingent on her selection. His value does not hinge on her decision. He is grounded, purposeful, anchored to something larger than any single relationship. That man is available to you, not as a fantasy, as a direction. Here is what you do starting now. Stop decoding from anxiety and start reading from stillness. When she says something that confuses you or unsettles you, your first response cannot be to panic and overcompensate. Your first response needs to be stillness. Take a breath. Observe, not just her words, her energy, her body language, her investment. Read the whole signal. Stop lobbying for your own worth. The moment you find yourself making a case for why you deserve her attention, her affection, her time, stop. That is not a negotiation you want to win. Because anything you lobby for, you will forever have to maintain. A man who has to convince someone of his value has already lost the frame. Redirect your primary energy to your mission. The most attractive thing a man can do is be genuinely occupied with something that matters to him, not as a strategy, as a reality. Build something, create something, commit to something. When your life is full with purpose, you stop being the kind of man who waits around interpreting signals. You become the kind of man whose signal is clear and constant. Set the standard before you need to enforce it. Know what you will accept, know what you will not, and communicate that, not with speeches, but with behavior. What you tolerate becomes the floor. What you require becomes the ceiling. Decide both before you enter a connection, not inside one, when the emotions are already compromised. And stop punishing her for lying when you rewarded the lie. This is the one most men don't want to hear. When a woman learned that I'm fine ended the conversation and you moved on, you trained that response. When you stayed after I don't want a relationship right now and she let you, both of you reinforce the dynamic. You are not only the victim of these patterns, you are sometimes the architect. Own that, not as shame, as power. Because if you helped build it, you can help dismantle it. Here is the truth you need to carry forward. You are not broken because you didn't understand. You were operating without information. That changes today. The lies women tell men are rarely lies in the way a con is a lie. They are often the language of self-protection, of conflict avoidance, of tested hope. But your job is not to be naive in the name of being kind. Your job is to be clear-eyed enough to read beyond the surface without becoming cynical, without becoming bitter, without deciding that understanding female psychology is a weapon rather than a compass. Use it as a compass. The man who understands these patterns and uses that understanding to build better connections, real ones, honest ones, chosen ones, that man is not a manipulator. He is a man who sees clearly and acts accordingly. He creates space for real truth instead of comfortable fiction. He invites women to be honest because he is honest enough not to punish them for it. And in doing that, he builds something neither of them has to decode. You are not here to chase. You are not here to convince. You are not here to wait in the wings hoping someone changes her mind. You are the answer, not to her questions, to your own. The question of who you are when no one is watching. The question of what you stand for when comfort would be easier. The question of whether you are building a life that reflects your actual worth or just hoping someone else assigns it to you. That's the work. That's the real work. And it starts the moment you decide that clarity is more valuable than comfort. If this hit you somewhere real, subscribe right now, because this is what we do here. We cut through the fog. We speak the truth you need to hear, even when, especially when it's uncomfortable. Every video on this channel is a mirror, not a monument. It's not here to make you feel good about where you are. It's here to show you where you could be. Subscribe, stay, grow with us. You're not alone in this. There are men watching this right now who feel exactly what you feel, who've been exactly where you've been, and who are choosing right now today to see differently. That's your community. These are your people. And this is where the work gets done.